Hi again, everyone. It's Higher Popcorn Fan here, and in this video, I just watched the season finale of House of the Dragon last night, and I am ready to give my full review of the whole season. And I thought it was a pretty good season. Following the first season, I thought that season was really well done too. A lot of the same producers and the same writers that worked on the main show worked on this as well. And some of the people that worked on the original show before like season 6 and onward worked on this. So, and I think George R. Martin also had his hand in creating this and helping shepherding the story for this show. And it shows, the production design, the costume design. That's something that's always worth praising in regards to Game of Thrones, whether it's this show or the original show. That's always the best thing about this show. It's the production design and the costume design. It's just all so fascinating to look at. We see all these famous places like King's Landing and the Iron Throne, and it's just really interesting and really cool to look at, and I love that. And also definitely in regards to like the writing, the story, I think this season does a little bit of a better job having a little bit more of a focused story this season compared to the previous season. And a lot of the characters feeling a lot more fleshed out in this season as well. And there's one character in particular that I always found so fascinating on this show, Damon. And, for a while, I considered Damon like the one of the few big villains on the show, and it seems like they're gonna kind of putting him on a bit of a redemption arc as this season was going on. Because in that first season, I could tell Damon could have been, shaped up to be like the main villain of the story in a way, but there are no clear villains on a show like this. There aren't. There are very gray areas with a lot of these characters and their motivations. It's really fascinating. And I also think that in regards to like the younger characters, like Aemond, Aegon, and Jace, and all those characters, I think they are interesting characters to say the least. Especially Aemond, because he's the character with the eye patch, and I was interesting seeing where they were taking his character this season after what he did to Aegon. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But I could see him like sort of playing chess in a way with his brother, trying to control the Iron Throne and trying to become a king, but ultimately will most likely fail in the next season. Which, by the way, this show was renewed for season 3, and I'm happy about that. More Game of Thrones, more House of the Dragon is always great for me. And I'm not a huge fan of this franchise because I never read the books. It took me the longest time to get into Game of Thrones when that original show was still premiering. It took me a while to get into that world because you have to keep watching and also have multiple viewings to really respect this world, because it can be a lot if you're a new person going into watching this franchise. You might not get the whole story and the whole worlds right away because it's just so much to unpack, so many characters to follow, and there's no exception with House of the Dragon because there's a lot of characters to follow in this as well. So, and also in regards to the whole story with Rhaenyra and with Alicent, I really liked how we had a few meetups this season, a few conversations this season, and I liked that kind of story and how it's like the greens versus the blacks. I think that's a really interesting way of handling the Dance of the Dragons. This war that's looming around them, and how that's being processed by everyone involved. And also, there was this other character who I wasn't sure of at first, because she didn't seem like that big of a character for a while, and then this season, she started having like dreams, visions, that kind of thing, and I wasn't sure where they were going to take her character. That's probably the big question mark I had by the season finale, because there was this moment between Aemond and her character, but between Daemon and her character, and Aemond actually, because it kind of involved all three of those characters in a way, and it was fascinating but at the same time, it seemed so. I don't know, emotional, I guess, because Aemond was like crying, like nearly, almost about to tear up in that scene and this season's finale, and he was definitely losing his cool at times in the finale as well, Aemond. So it was just really fascinating. And in regards to like flaws, like I don't really have too many. Like, I'd have to rewatch this season to really see if I can find any flaws. Because, like I was saying, it takes a while to get used to being in this world. And I guess, if there was like one criticism I had with this season, it just feels a little too short. There's only 8 episodes compared to the previous season being 10 episodes. So I guess, in a way, this season just felt too short. That's one criticism. And overall, though, it had a great score. I love that theme that always plays in those opening credits. That's always nice, as well as. Let's see, story, also, the writing, I thought, like I said, it was an improvement over the previous season and had a little bit more focused story. And also, I cannot talk about this without talking about this season. I loved seeing more dragons in this season. They were building it up. This war that's looming is about like a bunch of dragons and fighting, essentially at some point in the sky. And we got a little bit of that in this season as well. This is what the show is building up to, right? This looming war that will involve like who knows how many dragons at the same time, and just all this chaos and all that kind of nuke leveled kind of power being felt throughout King's Landing. And it's just, oh my goodness. And like the special effects on the dragons too definitely looks so much better than it did on the original show. That's another thing. The special effects on the dragons, and how they were able to make all of the dragons look distinct from one another. I think that's another thing that's worth praising about this season in particular. The visual effects, definitely much better with the dragons. And yeah, so if I had to give House of Dragon Season 2 a grade, I'd definitely give it an A. I don't really have too many flaws with it, just with the fact that I will admit, I think there are a few pacing issues, like especially the beginning of the season. It took a little while to get going, and then the plot started to really start around episode 4, and so it was just like the pacing. Even though this season is a little bit shorter with 8 episodes, there were a few pacing issues at the start. So that's my only other flaw. So A grade for me. I thought it was a great season. And before the season finale premiered, there was this kind of preview of shows to come, and I was really happy with the fact that the last 20 seconds of that preview thing showcased season 2 of The Last of Us a little bit. And I want to give my quick thoughts on that. it wasn't enough footage to really do another video for that itself, so I'll just tag it on here at the end of this video. I thought what we got in that season 2 teaser for The Last of Us, it looked, it still looked really good. I still looked like a really great production for season 2 as well, and we get our first looks at Dina, Isabella Merced. We got a really quick glimpse of Caitlin Dever as Abby and Jeffrey Wright, and it looks like a promising nice little teaser. It was only 20 seconds long, and it's not enough footage to warrant a full video, so I'm just gonna tag it on here. It looks really good, and I cannot wait for season 2 of The Last of Us. So that is my video for House of Dragon season 2, and yeah, I have one more video planned for you guys today, so look forward to it. It's for The Boys season 4. I've been wanting to do my full review of that as well, so look forward to that. Alright guys, see you guys very soon. Peace.